The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
It is finally Friday, which means time for some Walking Dead What Ifs. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll stick around and listen to the podcast because it's the time of the week where we take your what if scenarios from the Walking Dead universe and we just talk about them. Not that our opinions are law or that we're experts by any means, but we just enjoy talking about the Walking Dead. So if you enjoy talking about or hearing about the Walking Dead, hopefully you'll enjoy what we've got. So, JP, let's get to the questions. What are we starting out with?
All right, man. We'll start with the biggest of the bunch. Our good friend Jonas Balili says, what if, and he goes ahead and prefaces with a, hear me out. What if the sanctuary community had trouble producing food and scavenging? Negan and Dwight out on a run meets Jesus, who introduces them to meet the kingdom to cut a deal. But the kingdom couldn't spare extra rations because they are having to deal with a tyrant, Alexandria, led by Rick, who recently took over the Alexandria community with Daryl and Carol, etc., by killing Deanna and her family, and had brutally murdered Shiva and who had brutally murdered Shiva.
Murderly
brutal Shiva with Daryl's crossbow and Michonne's sword. Alexandria and the kingdom had a pact, but the Saviors tried to take out Alexandria on behalf of the kingdom and were only able to kill Gabriel, Maggie, and Glenn. Oh. Morgan at this point left with Aaron and Eric because they didn't agree with how things went down with taking over Alexandria. Then the Saviors end up in a lineup against Rick, Daryl, Michonne, Abraham, Sasha, Rosita, Carl, and Carol. So who would have answered Rick's red machete? Oh, gosh.
Negan, right? Well, Negan's in that lineup, right?
I think so. Rick at this point takes out individuals that messes with his group. No exceptions because of their battle with Woodbury, brutal road trip to D.C., encounter with Gareth, and almost losing Judith. The lineup consists of Jesus, Jerry, Negan, Simon, Dwight, Sherry, Arat, Deanna, Richard, Ezekiel, and Henry. Sorry, long question, but wanted to explain how Negan, Jesus, and Ezekiel got along. So that's a nice setup.
No, yeah, I love that, man. You didn't just ask a question like, what if the roles were reversed? You gave us a scenario to think about before deciding. No, that's great.
Yeah, it's a crazy Elseworlds.
Really is. I mean, it's kind of reminds me of it, not exactly the same, but kind of how like showing this other world, Michonne, how she wound up with the Saviors. Now we're seeing in other worlds where the Saviors actually aren't the bad guys. I think first and foremost, I think Rick would kill Negan.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, is it the same deal as Negan? He's only going to kill one person, or will he kill anybody in that group?
I guess we'll stick with the Negan rules. He kills someone to make a message, to send a message. But do you think somebody would have popped up out of that lineup and socked Rick and made him kill someone else?
Who in that lineup would have been the one?
We got Jesus and Jerry. I don't see either one of them doing that. Maybe Simon. Simon might have bucked up and socked him. Yeah. Maybe. Well, if Dwight's there with Sherry, he's probably not going to. Yeah,
I don't think Dwight would do anything to get Sherry killed. So I don't see Dwight bucking up. Like I said, I definitely could see Stephen Ogg's character, Simon. I could see him bucking up. But I think Rick would be able to kind of identify who would be the biggest mouths he'd have to deal with. Right. I think even if Negan were playing along, I still feel like Rick would be able to read through Negan and be like, nah, this guy's too slick. He thinks he's a smooth talker. Yeah. Go ahead and take him out. Someone like him will definitely come back. Simon probably would buck. I think Simon's, I don't know, man. Simon, I want to know at what point Simon was ready to betray Negan. You know what I'm saying? Because in the beginning, they seemed all hunky-dory. And then it seems like they fell apart as we were watching through All Out War. But, I mean, was there always something in Simon that wanted to take Negan out? Because if it was, you never know. Simon might stand up and be like, take him.
Right.
He's the leader. He's the one, I want to help you. I don't know. Simon's pretty smooth, too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like if Simon had just been left to keep doing things the way he was doing them, he probably would have just, not even worried about opposing Negan, in the main show. But.
And let's see, Jesus, I think Jesus is such I mean, don't get me wrong, of everybody in that lineup, Jesus is probably the one most likely to whoop your ass in multiple ways. But Jesus has a very soft presence, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like Rick wouldn't necessarily pick up that Jesus is this hidden threat. I think that he would just look at Jesus and be kind of, whatever. And then, and who else was in that lineup? I know it was Dwight, Negan, Simon, Jesus. Who else was there?
You got Ezekiel, you got Henry, you got Jerry.
I don't think he would kill Jerry. I don't see Jerry. Now, Jerry would buck up if he thought Ezekiel was in danger.
Yeah,
like if Rick,
for sure.
Maybe if Rick was doing kind of like a Negan where he was going to each person and made it, or maybe, if he pulled something similar to how Negan was to Maggie, where he was like, I should just put you out right now. Mm-hmm. I feel like Jerry would be the one to get up and try to stop him, because Jerry, that's why we love Jerry, in addition to being an absolute delight on screen and just a funny, fun guy I'm not even a huggy type person, and I want to hug Jerry. Yeah. He was fiercely loyal to King Ezekiel. Even when King Ezekiel didn't want him to be loyal to him, he was loyal to him. So I think if he thought Ezekiel was in trouble, he would definitely stand up and buck, in which case Rick would probably kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're all, I don't know, man, because it's honestly like Rick almost had like a kill 'em all mentality for a while. Like if you're against us or you're with a group threatening us. But I feel like Jesus would survive. I feel like King Ezekiel would survive, because I feel like King Ezekiel is just, I don't know. I feel like I don't think Rick would pick up on him as a main threat. And especially the way that King Ezekiel submitted to the Saviors the way he did, even though it was secretive means, he still submitted.
Yeah.
I don't see why he wouldn't submit to Rick either, or at least make it appear he was submitting. I feel like the outright attitudes that would get Rick's machete would definitely be like Simon and Negan. But I honestly feel like part of me is like Simon would be like, kill him.
Yeah, it's because I don't know that Simon, like you said, had the loyalty to like risk his life for Negan. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I think he liked the power and he liked being able to do what he was doing. But I don't think that he had some deep love for Negan in the way that like Jerry does for Ezekiel.
No, definitely not.
Jerry would happily die for Ezekiel. He's proven that time and time again. And only until recently, where they've kind of separated and everybody's doing their own thing. But you can still see whenever they're around each other, the love's there. I mean, Jerry just loves Ezekiel. So, I mean, I don't know that Negan has anybody in his corner that would be willing to die for him.
Nah, I mean, it'd have to be a completely different Negan, you know what I'm saying?
Not unless they totally think that it's going to pay off in the long run. Like maybe he'll... So my vote would probably be most likely Negan, and I don't really see anybody else in that lineup doing anything under pressure. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I've been yapping long enough. What do you think?
No, man, I think Negan would definitely get it, and I don't know that anyone would have because Negan rules through fear, not through just loyalty,
like love and loyalty, like Ezekiel.
Yeah. So I don't really see anybody just socking Rick just because they hate seeing Negan get killed. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
really cool scenario, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Really cool scenario.
But if I could have my wish, Rick would definitely kill Henry, just because who doesn't want to see Henry die again?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Were we watching that episode together? Did we watch? I know we did the finale. I think we watched it together or something. But did we watch the?
I can't remember, dude. I
just know when Henry's head was revealed, it's like, yeah.
I think we maybe live streamed from our separate homes on that one.
Because I know it was like with everybody, I was sad almost. I mean, Earl's wife, I didn't really give two craps about. Them kids, I didn't really care. The former Savior chick, I didn't care about. But when I saw Tara and Enid and what's that? DJ, I think was that guy's name. He was a former Savior, but now he was, and the Highwayman guy. I hated that. I liked the Highwaymen.
Yeah.
I hated to see them die, but when I saw the Highwaymen and DJ and I saw Enid and Tara, I was so sad. I was like, no. And then when I saw Henry, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Never. I feel so bad for being so happy to see a teenager die, but he was awful.
Yeah. Yeah. God.
Just a terrible character.
Yeah.
It was clearly he was put there to take Carl's role. And I guess I'm hoping... I would love to find out, which they would never admit this. I'm hoping to find out that it wasn't planned originally for Henry to die. He was going to continue with the Carl mantra the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But Angela Kang just saw how terrible he was. It was like, yeah, no, we're changing it. We're going to shock kill Henry so that Carol gets to go on this revenge mission.
Yeah.
As much as I've complained about getting tired of Carol, you know what? I take back everything I've said. It was totally worth watching another Carol vengeance, self-doubt saga to lose Henry.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. If Henry was still on the show, you might be podcasting by yourself. I don't know.
I would have like a straw figure dressed up like you.
I don't know that I could have hung in there, but anyway, someone who is hanging in, our good friend UV, who is taking us back to another Negan scenario. What if Negan chose to kill Rick in the lineup in season 7? How would everyone react? Would Daryl punch him anyways and Glenn die too?
Oh man, if he would have killed Rick, I don't know that Abraham wouldn't have got. I mean, I believe if he would have killed Rick, I mean, he might have got bum rushed. I was going to say they might have all ended up dying, just in the sense of most of them would have. I don't know if Aaron would have stood up and fought, but I just, man, I love Abraham. I still, whenever we get to this moment, I have this wave of depression because I loved Abraham so much, man, and I'm cool with the way he died. He went out like a freaking champ. But, still, if he would have killed Rick, I mean, Carl definitely would have done something. I mean, I don't think he would have been able to make much. I feel like, Daryl and Carl would have been the main two. Mm-hmm. Those two might have both stood up and went after Negan. Michonne, I mean, hell, Michonne's his lover, and she's a badass. I mean, she's quite possibly one of the probably the most badass in that entire lineup at that time because you didn't have Jesus. We know Michonne is a beast hand to hand, and especially you put a sword in her hand, whew, you're screwed. I feel like, really, you would have had. I feel like more people would have died if Rick would have died. I feel like Michonne would have stood up. I feel like Daryl would have stood up. I feel like Carl would have stood up. Part of me still feels like Abraham would have stood up more, if nothing else, just because he knows that they need Rick, and he's taken away the one thing that group needs to get through this. I don't know if Sasha would have stood up. I don't know if Rosita would have stood up. I don't think Aaron would have. Eugene wouldn't have.
No.
Glenn might have. I don't know. I think Glenn's main concern would be Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
I think if everything hopped up, Glenn would have wrapped his arms around Maggie.
Yeah, I think as soon as that bat swung on Rick, they would have bum rushed Negan,
and then they probably would have all died.
Yeah, they would have got mowed down, but maybe they would have had just enough time to tear Negan apart. Who knows? And
in another world, it might have been the exact opposite. Maybe Rick. Let's just say nobody bum rushes, except let's just assume Daryl still bum rushes.
Yeah,
because he probably definitely would. I still think Glenn would die. I think that, Negan is a psychological guy. And, killing Daryl for bum rushing him, that's just an easy out for Daryl. No, the way you make him suffer and pay for what he did to you is you make him feel responsible for what you're doing to one of his. You know what I mean? The whole killing Glenn was just to get in Daryl and everybody else's head. Like, you come up against me, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to make you responsible for someone else's death.
Yeah.
Kind of like how he let Rosita live, even though she took a shot at him, So I imagine Daryl would have probably still bum rushed him. If he bum rushed after Abraham, I certainly feel like he would have bum rushed after Rick. And then Glenn would have still died. And you never know, man, with Rick gone, they might not have had the spirit to even fight back. I mean, they might still be under Negan's thumb.
Probably so, or he probably would have, crushed any insurrection. I don't know. Without Rick at the helm, do you think they could have won the war? I
think Michonne, I don't know, man, because it's so many parts to Michonne, which is why she's by far and large one of the best characters to ever come out of the show, because you've got motherly Michonne, which was one of my favorites. That's what I loved about her character development, is it was so natural. She started off as this hard ass. She was to herself. She didn't trust anybody. And then we got to see her open up and become this very motherly figure to Carl and Judith, and just got to see what a wonderful person she actually was. But, part of me wants to say I feel like Michonne would just be like, I'm out. But then I'm like, well, no, she wouldn't, because she would never leave Carl and Judith like that.
No.
But I feel like Michonne, we see that she's a fierce leader after Rick's gone, when she takes over at Alexandria as head of security, which is basically leader.
Yeah.
They have a council, but she makes all the hard decisions. I feel like Michonne could have possibly led a fight against Negan. We know Daryl couldn't. Daryl's too hot-headed in the sense of he just acts on emotion, like the running the truck into the side of the building type thing.
Yeah, man. I say, like, could they have won the war without Rick? When you think about it, they essentially lost the war if not for Eugene. I mean, it's not like Rick, led them into victory. He just got lucky that Eugene had a change of heart.
I mean, if you want to be frank about it, Rick led him to certain death at the end. And I'm not blaming Rick. I mean, Rick did what I think anybody would have done. It was a very well-laid trap. But, I mean, Rick definitely put some big hits on the Saviors. I mean, we saw in those scenes, Rick himself was responsible for taking out several outposts. Well, one of them was him and Daryl. And, then he was going to different locations and taking out Saviors himself. So he definitely helped with the war. But when it comes down to, I guess you'd say the brass tacks, the bottom line is Rick at the helm. Where did they end up? Surrounded by Saviors with guns. Downhill. I mean, they had every strategic disadvantage one could have. There was no way out, no way to survive. And Negan was going to kill them all. And like you said, had Eugene not did what he did, that would have been it for everybody. Mm-hmm. So, you're right. I mean, really, it was Eugene that won that war.
Yeah.
So it could have played out much a similar way. And, who knows? With Rick gone, Carl might not have died, as silly as that sounds, because Michonne might have been more accepting of Sadiq.
Yeah.
Might not have. I mean, I know Michonne has her points of not trusting anyone, but Carl opened her up, made her a friendlier person, made her more warm. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? She might have handled that differently than Rick did, because she's been in his situation. She's been a loner. So I don't know. It could have been a lot of different ways it could have played out with Rick dying, but I definitely think that with Rick dying, I don't know if they would have gotten because Rick's kind of like the George Washington figure. Mm-hmm. He's inspiring. He's a living legend, regardless of how some things turn out. Rick inspired those around him to get up and fight, and Maggie was also a key. She inspired the hilltop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know, with Rick gone, maybe they wouldn't have had the, hoo-yah to do it.
Right. But yeah, that's definitely a good one. Some good Negan stuff this morning.
I still feel like my plan would have been like, hey, let's all split up into groups. Mm-hmm. We're going out scavenging for the Saviors. We're getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Just they let us drive cars. I'm sure they're watching roads and shit, but if we separate into small enough groups, they won't realize we're mass. We'll just one by one. Because one thing I don't understand about the Savior's plan is, I mean, you occupy places. Mm-hmm. You take over a country in a war. You don't just immediately just go home and go, all right, now here are your new rules. Follow the rules. I mean, you normally would plant people there.
Right. You
would think Negan would appoint one of his right hands to run Alexandria, but they didn't. So Rick and them had that advantage. I'd have been like, dude, this is just a housing development.
Right.
You know how many thousands of these are probably within, a short range of us? Let's just get out of here and slowly make our way the hell away from the Saviors.
Yeah, man. They could have sent Daryl out to scout. He found a new place, and then just done a little mass migration.
Oh, yeah. Sent Daryl a state or two over, just like Daryl and Aaron, or Daryl and Jesus on this little, secret mission to go find a new place and then slowly start moving our people there to where it's not obvious to the Saviors what's going on.
Yeah. But that's a good one. We got an interesting comment from Jovi Guy. Wasn't Isabel the pilot that hooked up with Al in Fear? There's an idea that she is Elizabeth's from the world beyond soldier daughter. Hope you both have a wonderful time off talking about your beach trip and my.
Oh yeah, thank you, Jovi. Yeah, we love you so much. Yeah. Our favorite Kiwi.
That's true.
But, yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. And, I mean, we actually, I guess after that comment was left, we got the episode of Fear where we revisited that with Al.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be cool to see how they tie all this stuff into the world beyond, Because there's definitely a lot of loose ends to tie up.
There certainly are. If she was, though, that'd be interesting. I mean, she might be... I don't know. I wonder if it'll be like she turns against her mom or she convinces her mom to... I still think the best way to wrap up Fear, man, is to have them hauled off by the CRM and then we see them in present day, whether they pop up in World Beyond or whatever. That's how that would make it worth it for me.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, good to hear from you, Jovi. You've been absent from the comments lately. Good to see you popping up. Let's see. Dylan Watson, what if Noah didn't die in season 5? How would he affect the story?
The world would be a lot happier of a place. I love Noah. I really did. I love the show. Everybody loves Chris. Everybody hates Chris, excuse me. So when I saw that he was in the show, I was super happy. I don't know. How do you think Noah staying alive would have affected the show?
Well, I mean, for one thing, man, that's going so far back. It's hard for me to even remember really, like what impact he had on the show when he was there. Like, I mean, I remember he was a fun character. He had a good sense of humor, but he wasn't just like a slapstick comic relief.
I feel like he could have became a badass. I mean, Noah had the skills to survive. Noah was a good guy. Honestly, it would have made Beth's death more meaningful had he have stuck around and become a more impactful character. I feel like that's where they screw up with storylines like that. Like we switch out Beth for Noah, which I thought I didn't really care for Beth as a character, to be honest with you. So her dying really wasn't that big of a deal. I was more upset at seeing what that did to Maggie than I was Beth actually dying. Because I'm like, poor Maggie, man. She watched her dad get decapitated. Her whole family was in the barn and got shot up. Like everybody she knows and loves, she's watched die, which is the case for a lot of people. But Beth dying and introducing Noah, it could have been way more meaningful had Noah been a much longer running character.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. The only thing I really hardcore remember about Noah is the gnarly way he got killed.
And I still think he could have been killed later on. I just feel like he should have. I don't feel like, and I don't know, that's kind of counter. That's kind of contradicting myself, I know, because sometimes we fuss about the fact that The Walking Dead does not kill main characters anymore. Yeah. But it's just in those situations where, okay, like Carl, we'd lost Carl, but we got Sadiq. And then that really did, other than giving Rosita a kid and having some cool moments, I mean, it really, you know what I mean? It didn't feel like a good trade out, So I don't know. I think Noah would have been much more of a voice of reason. I could have seen Noah staying at the hilltop.
Yeah.
I could have seen him being kind of like an advisor to Maggie, maybe Maggie's right hand, like a good friend to Maggie. And of course, he basically is there because her sister died. So, I could have seen him, going on to be, I don't know if Noah had straight up leadership qualities. I don't know if he would have become like a leader of anything, but I definitely think he would have been a voice of reason, a kind heart in a cold world.
Yeah, man, he had potential, but that's still an awesome death. I don't know if I would have changed it.
Yeah, the way he died, if he was going to die, should have happened. Just maybe should have happened a little bit later so that we feel like his trade out for Beth was a little more worth it. But you're right, he still has to date one of the gnarliest deaths in The Walking Dead, and I don't know that I would ever want to change that.
Yeah, good to do some remembering on old Noah. I was for a minute there. I was like, God, how did he even get introduced in the show? And I was like, oh yeah, he was in that stupid Beth.
That's the dumbest story. I'm gonna tell you. As much as you hear me complain about the Daryl Beth storyline, I would watch them all day over that stupid hospital story arc. Yeah. That was so stupid. I hated that, man. I hated it. It was just the dumbest. It felt something like Fear the Walking Dead would do, not The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Not a high point in the series, that's for sure. Okay, Eternal Rex got a couple of good ones for us. What if Nick lived and Alicia was the one who Charlie killed?
I'm not going to lie. I think the show would be more interesting.
Probably. I think Nick definitely would have. He's already lost his mom. We know he's not the most stable person. He probably would have started eating zombie brain stems again and just walking around tripping his ass off. Yeah.
I really like the Nick Morgan dynamic.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen, and that would have been a fitting way to take Morgan out. Morgan ends up dying heroically, but then you've got Nick, who's kind of the best of both. He's learned the all life is precious BS from Morgan, but he also will be a bad, I thought Nick was one of the most interesting characters in this universe, to be completely honest. I loved Nick. Yeah. I thought he was a great, between even stemming over into The Walking Dead and World Beyond, Nick was an interesting character, and the actor that played him, I can't remember his name. I think it was like Frank something. But he was great. He played that role so good. Like, I really liked Nick. And if I honestly had my way, I wouldn't mind trading Nick for Alicia. And it's not that I don't like the actress or anything, and Alicia's had her moments, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. To me, Alicia doesn't shine in the way that Nick did.
Nick definitely stood out in that series. To me, he was kind of he's the first person we saw.
In my mind, him or Madison were like the series, like lead character.
Yeah. But that was still, much like Noah, just a gnarly death we didn't see coming. So
you're right. It's one of those, I don't know that if I had the ability to manipulate time and change that, I don't know that I would, because I just remember like that feeling in my gut when he gets shot, and I'm like, what? okay, they're going to save him or what, and then like realizing like, oh no, he's coughing up blood, like he's dead, and then just that feeling of what the, it was definitely, it was a death that negatively impacted the show, I feel, but at the same time, it was definitely one of the most memorable moments in the history of the show.
Yeah, honestly, man, that was like up until Morgan chopping that bounty hunter dude's head off. Nick getting killed was the last moment in Fear the Walking Dead that really left me just like, oh my God.
You're right.
What's going to happen next? After that, it was just kind of a long trudge of stupid storylines and pointless villains.
Yeah, making up for the lack of interesting characters. I mean, Victor Strand is Victor and Daniel are the two most interesting characters in my mind. And then I also, I love John Dory. It just, they've kind of dulled his character with June.
Yeah.
I love you, June. Ugh. That's my story arc from here out. I'm gonna be the perfect bad boyfriend.
Yeah, but no, that's some good points. Eternal Wreck. Always love seeing you. Dylan Watson's got a couple for us too as we round it out. What if Dwight killed Rosita instead of Denise in season 6, episode 14? Would Denise become a great character?
No. If he killed who instead of Denise?
If he killed Rosita instead of Denise.
Hell no. There's no way Denise would have became the character that Rosita did.
She definitely couldn't fill Rosita's shoes. I mean, they could have given her a halfway interesting storyline. As another character I wasn't really very invested in.
I don't think anybody was very invested in Denise.
I mean, I remember they went to that little mini mall and she found like the baby drowned in the sink or whatever. And other than that, I know she was like a nurse or doctor or something. But
yeah, I didn't find her all that interesting at all. So I'm with you on that. Not interesting to me at all.
Yeah, definitely that would not have been a fair trade.
It would have sucked
for Denise. Yeah.
Imagine all of Rosita's moments gone, and then try to imagine them with Denise instead of Rosita. It just wouldn't have worked.
No, it would.
I think the show would have suffered greatly.
Yeah.
They might not have even, I don't know. Rosita was a very pivotal part in a lot of different attacks and a lot of things they did. I mean, hell, they might not have had the edge they had against Negan without Rosita.
Yeah, man. I definitely, Rosita has been a high point in the show for sure.
Most definitely.
Let's see. Dylan Watson wraps it up with, what if Negan took Glenn to the sanctuary after his outburst, then Negan killed Carl for Daryl's last outburst. So Negan takes Glenn to the sanctuary, and Negan kills Carl after Daryl punches him.
Ooh.
So I was convinced that Carl was the one Negan killed because I saw a very convincing YouTube video in that summer between the finale and the premiere. Of course, it wasn't Carl, but
I do think it's interesting because I was one of these people. I know this is getting off subject for a second, but it really is great to go back and rewatch the show sometimes because you forget when something's been running so long. You forget little details. And it's like I remember when people were like, oh, it's bull crap. He would, he acts like he says he don't kill kids or whatever, but they talked about how he beat that 16-year-old kid to death at the hilltop, Actually, but it wasn't Negan. Like, he straight up said it was some of Negan's men. Showed it was most likely Simon.
Yeah.
It wasn't Negan. So I do love a villain that has a good code. You know what I mean? I think that's always like, if I was writing a villain, I would give them a code, something that makes them human. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just, they're evil, but they have their reasons, and they also have certain lines that they refuse to cross. Because let's face it, in an apocalyptic world, it's refreshing to meet a dictator who does not believe in rape.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, granted, he'll definitely take the Harvey Weinstein approach and pressure you into sex or either a life of servitude, but you don't have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it's good to see even an evil man taking a stance, a stance against rape.
Yeah. So Negan has got that going for him. I don't think he's going to be on any, PSAs for helping battered women or anything. But no. He's still, he's got some lines he won't cross, like you said.
Oh yeah. I've got one or two from our most previous Fear the Walking Dead review, and then we'll wrap up with those two. Let's see here. Stephen Miller says, "What if Strand accidentally kills Sherry?" And then has to put Dwight down after maybe Dwight tries to kill, or get in the way of Strand's plans to take out Jenny. giving Strand comic Rick's storyline that he has towards the end of the comic. But with Strand and this Gunny storyline, and Jenny, I got to think him Strand in this Jenny storyline, obviously you know what would happen to Strand in the end. Sorry, JP.
Oh, jeez.
I would really hate for them to waste a Walking Dead story arc, though, on Fear the Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you're right, though, Stefan. I mean, but you do have Walking Dead characters in Fear now.
Yeah, you can't disregard that. Yeah, don't be messing with my Victor.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting way if Strand accidentally kills Sherry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that could happen, but I mean, how would that happen? How would they end up in the scenario where Strand, unless, Strand doesn't realize that's Sherry and kills her to make, to impress Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it'd almost have to happen like in the comic when Rick killed, was it?
Sherry.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it'd just have to be an accidental kind of thing.
Completely accidental. I mean, really, she just
him.
broke his neck,
But, I mean, Victor Strand's in a different mindset right now. I mean, we saw what he did to the kid, outside of that garage with the sticky zombies. I forget his name, the one that he stabbed in the leg, and he Otis'd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he was a very forgettable character, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget his name. But, so, I mean, if it was one of those things that, like, I guess he thinks no one would find out about and it was for the greater good, maybe he would, kind of use her as a sacrificial lamb, but I don't think he'd straight out murder her just for shits and giggles.
No, it would have to be like some strategic advantage to her death.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then also we've got, what if Al and Aaron are brother and sister? Althea has mentioned more than once having a brother who seemed to be in the peacekeeping business, and Aaron was a peacekeeper, and mentioning having a little sister to marry Whisperer Girl. If they are, in fact, long-lost siblings, it could be potential Commonwealth reveal. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
I just feel like that'd be a little on the nose, though.
Yeah.
You have two kids, and they're both gay.
Yeah.
Because Al is gay, and Aaron is gay, so it's like, I feel like, and I don't know, I can't speak for the gay community, but I feel like that would get them some ridicule, like just, so you're acting like it runs in the family or something, instead of just being who a person is. So I feel like that would stop them from doing that, but it might not. Who knows? I mean, maybe they have their reasons, but I don't see it for that reason. I just feel like that's a little on the nose, and people might take that as just kind of lumping it. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? I could see where somebody might take that offensively or the wrong way.
I did work with cousins who were both lesbians. I think they were either cousins or sisters, but yeah, that's beside the point. Shout out to you, Sharonda, if you're listening, which I don't think you are. But
I mean, we don't promote this podcast around town, so hopefully they're not.
But she's in the Air Force now.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
We appreciate her service.
Good kid.
But if we missed your Walking Dead What If, now this is the video to leave it on, because we didn't get to do one last week, so we kind of had to search old videos and stuff to find the What Ifs. But now, next week, when Friday hits, we'll look back onto this video and we'll pull your What If scenarios from the comments section. So make sure to leave us some Walking Dead What Ifs and keep them coming, man. I'm going to tell you, we've had you guys leave some crazy, like Jonas earlier.
Oh, God, dude.
I love him.
To write a book, man.
Yeah, I love him.
He needs to do some straight-up fanfic, man.
Yeah.
he would be really good at writing some fan fiction.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So leave us. We love questions like that. The more drawn out they are, because, I mean, it's one of those things where I definitely don't mind answering a question like, what if Shane would have lived? But such a broad question. I mean, when you can paint it out further, what if Shane would have lived? And what if Shane would have found Randall's group and actually decided to join them? I mean, like when you start giving us these super specific questions, it makes it a lot easier to kind of imagine how these things would have played out.
Yeah, man. Or what if like Shane and Andrea had left together and ended up, running into the Fear crew?
Yeah.
Like early days of the outbreak.
Or would they have ended up with the governor?
God, so many paths.
Because I believe Shane would have took Merle's spot as lieutenant.
Yeah, either that or like straight up just dethrone
Straight up killed the governor.
Yeah, or got killed by the governor. Something would have happened.
They're very much alike.
Yeah.
Just in the sense of their tempers and their...
Yep, and it's hard to have two alphas running a pack.
That's why most don't.
Yep.
But yeah, so let us know what you think. Let us know some more Walking Dead What If scenarios. Don't forget to check out our Weird Wednesday. That was really cool. We did some We showed some ghost videos and we discussed them. That's on our channel. And we'll catch you back here Monday as we review Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead: A World Beyond.
Yeah, let's knock on wood. Maybe it'll be a good one.
The first 2 episodes, I was trying to be so hopeful. Now I'm just at the point where I'm like,
it's a chore to watch it. It is.
I'm really hoping it picks up.
It's kind of like remember when it was some comic series, but the only thing, it was building towards something else, and they would have little snippets that were leading up to that, and you were basically buying comics just for that one page at the end that was leading up to whatever event. That's what it's like. We're just like, just give us that one little thing at the end leading up to like Lincoln to Rick or whatever.
I feel like this could have just been like a little web series like they used to do, or how they had like that plane they would show like a little bit before the episode.
Yeah.
So let's hope it picks up and earns its place in the Walking Dead Hall of Greatness. But until Monday, also don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. It's super cheap, and you get extra podcasts that nobody else gets. And we also do periodically some secret contests and cool stuff like that. So please go check that out.
Yeah.
And without further ado, goodbye.
Check it out.
I'm tired.
Yeah, well, you know my situation this morning.
Yeah, I know you get way less sleep than I do any night. So I can't imagine added that on top of it. I mean, I went to bed at like 10:30 or 11, and I'm still dead tired.
Yeah.
But we'll see you Monday. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And with the Podcasting Dead, hit the subscribe button. Ooh. Or, maybe just the like button. Or both.